Hi Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Taurus, September 1st to the 15th, 2021, Taurus. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the moon, which is Pisces energy. And we have justice. Now, if we have Pisces or Libra within our natal chart, that's going to be coming through really quite profoundly because we have the moon, which is Pisces, and justice, which is Libra in the major arcana. In ourselves, we have temperance, Sagittarius energy, the Two of Cups, and the star, Aquarius energy. Again, if we have, there we go, so you guys can see better. If we have Sagittarius or Aquarius within our natal chart, that's going to be coming through quite profoundly in our inner selves and the way that we see things and kind of process things. We have the Knight of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, increasing the Pisces energy here. But again, if we have water sign energy within our natal chart, that's coming through very strongly within our heart. So we feel things very, very, very intensely. The Nine of Wands and the World. Just move things over a bit. And then we have the Three of Swords, which is a release. It's a sense of I'm looking at what has stepped me, what has held me back, what has denied me. And there's just this real sense of release because the world has opened and the world comes through. I was like, the world is here. And it's like the world has come through again. And that is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant, Taurus. And it leads us to the Page of Cups. We become students of our heart because we're starting to see our world in such a different way. We're starting to see ourselves in such a different way. And it's kind of like, finally I'm stepping into the empath, the power, the brilliance of my dreams. I'm finding balance within myself, and love is here. And that's what we're feeling inside. It's kind of like, it's not for everybody else, it's for me. And that is a really powerful thing, first and foremost, to be able to be like, this is for me. This is not a gift to give to anybody else. But because it raises our energy vibration, it raises our, like, this light that shines within us. It is a gift that benefits so many other people, because it is a bettering of ourselves in one of the most lovely ways. And it moves us to the energy that we have to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. And it's the King of Wands. We have to be mindful of falling to our temper. That is going to be something that's very important during this time, because we can be really attracted to people who don't have the best grasp on their temper. That's just the first thing I saw when I turned over the card. It's like, being mindful of people who don't have control over their temper, and just be mindful of the temper. And so here it's with others, it's with ourselves, it's being able to look at things with passion and determination and focus, but not being a brute about it. And that's going to be really important for other people, especially other people that we interact with, because they can be a bit of a brute about it, and we're going to see it as, well, they're just being assertive, or, oh, they're just being passionate, or, we're going to make these excuses. It's like, no, if you act like a jerk, you're a jerk. Even if you're just a jerk for a moment, we have to take ourselves out of negative situations. Go for a walk. If it's a fight with somebody, be able to just center ourselves again. And that's going to be so important. This person has a bit of a hard time with that. And so if they won't leave the situation, we need to. Okay? That's really important. And that could just be for one person, but do be mindful of that. Chakra energy, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. And it's clarity, the third eye chakra. We're starting to see things with clarity, with understanding, with greater insight, greater ideas. And it's really opening up our eyes. It's really like, oh, and that's the piece I was missing, wasn't it? And this is just something that we had a hard time seeing before. We didn't really understand. And this brings us forward in a very powerful, very open, very honest way. And it's the clarity of insight. It's the clarity of ideas. It's the clarity of, this is the way I want to move forward. Like, this is the direction I want to head in. And I didn't realize that before. So we're going to see things start to open up to us. It's kind of like a blooming flower. And yeah, it's going to be really rather beautiful. And it moves us to the moon. It moves us to, so much is illuminated, but not when everybody is bustling about. So much is illuminated through the quiet, through the steady. We're going to find so much power in the places between words, where a lot of power is already held. It's going to be in the silent moments that we see things better, that we gain a greater understanding, that, our mind is really opened. And that becomes very powerful for us during this time. We can also have a tendency to react to things because of fear. I fear that the prosperity I want is going to be taken away from me. I fear that I'm never going to get to be the person that I want to be, or to the place that I want to be at. And so we can react to things from fear, and we have to be very mindful of that during this time, because what the moon has us do is it has us face our fears. It has us face the shadows and say, okay, there's not monsters here. My nephew was asleep, right? And he woke up, and there was a shadow, because we went to check on him, and he just stopped and looked up at the ceiling and was so afraid. He was like, oh my goodness, what the heck is that? On the ceiling. And it was a shadow, but he didn't know that it wasn't a monster. So it's kind of like, sometimes we can be like toddlers. We need to understand that it's not a monster, but our first reaction is, oh my gosh, what is this? What is going on here? And to panic. So a fight or flight, kind of reaction. And we have to just be mindful of that during this time, that the illumination through the darkness is going to give us insight that sometimes we don't see as properly as we think we do. It's kind of like, I think I see this, so therefore it must be. It's like, no, dive deeper and ask yourself what you're seeing, what you're understanding, and why. Because there is going to be the sense of this fight or flight thing coming up, but yet so much beauty is revealed through the moon. So much beauty comes to us through this quiet understanding. I mean, we have the moon and the stars here. So much comes to us at night, in the quiet, in the beautiful understanding of the moments when the world has this silence to it. It leads us to justice. It leads us to a place of balance, but it also leads us to a place of discernment. It's really saying to us, okay, what is it that I need? Not what is it that everybody else needs, again, from me. It's what is it that I need to be balanced, to be harmonious within myself, to live in discernment. And what that means is that if this energy isn't right for me, why am I going to keep on trying to do this? If this path isn't right for me, why am I going to keep on trying to walk it? And so it's opening up doors to us by saying, listen to yourself. Balance your energy, balance yourself, balance what you desire. It can be fears from past lives and fears from this life, kind of coming together. And so we're looking at things with openness and with honesty and saying, okay, I see it, and I am not ruled by it. And it brings us to the star. It brings us to this beautiful wish that comes forward. It brings us to this beautiful intensity that is just this powerful release. And it's all the hopes, and it's all the dreams, and it's the moments when anything is possible. And things might not go the way that we had seen them, but they go the way that divinity sees the deep resolve within our soul, like the deeper wish of our souls, not the I cross my fingers wish. And this is what we have cultivated. We sent it out into the world. And it's that moment of freedom. It's that moment of hope. It's that moment of beauty. And it brings us to unity. It brings us to unity of self. It brings us to healing. It brings us to a greater understanding. It brings us to a place where the masculine and feminine energy comes together. And we start to embrace the central beauty of the world. And for a Taurus, that is so important. And as we embrace this energy, we realize that we ourselves are blessed, that there is a beauty to us that maybe others do not see, or maybe other people do not comprehend all the time, but that we nurture within ourselves, meaning that when people say hurtful things, when people act in hurtful ways, we don't take that and hold on to that anymore. With the Three of Swords coming forward, it's like, no, I get to release. I get to release, and I get to embrace my love, my unity, my beauty, my understanding. And it brings us to a place of temperance. It brings us to a place of balance. I cannot be for anybody else what I cannot be for myself. Balanced, harmonious, in alignment. Excuse me. This is a time where we call that forward. We call that balance forward. We call that harmony forward. We call that beauty within ourselves forward. We see ourselves more openly and more honestly than before. We dive deep into our emotions, and yet we do not let our emotions drown us. We dive deep into our souls, and yet we do not let our souls consume us, meaning that we don't let ourselves always become an abstraction. We bring the abstract of the soul, the abstract of emotions, the abstract of, our own personal desires. We bring that into the conscious world, and we start to give that positive and profound voice. It leads us to the Knight of Cups. During this time, our heart is our warrior. Our heart is our bounty and our beauty and everything in between. And so with the Knight of Cups, we are defending what we most love and what is most sacred to us. We see ourselves opening up the door in a way that is profound, in a way that gains understanding, in a way that takes deeper knowledge and drinks it deeply within ourselves, the way that balances the ocean within us, our blood, the fact that we're made up of a lot of water. And so this is a time where we start to see us balancing, us diving deeper, us fighting for what we love and who we are, not in an aggressive way, but in a way that says, this is my soul, this is myself, and this is me standing up for me. This is love, this is light, and this is positive intention. This is dedication. This is what I've worked so hard for. And it brings us to the Nine of Wands. Our heart can be easily swayed by the rest of the world, by what everybody else is saying. And we're going to be in such a place of wanting to promote peace, of wanting to promote balance, that we can find ourselves, maybe we can think kind of being a little wishy-washy. Well, okay, this person says this, that makes sense. I can see that side of the story. This person says this, that makes sense. I can see that side of the story. Where's the balance? Where's the harmony? Where is everything? And this is going to be the stance that we take. The stance that we take brings in the harmony. The stance of, I can see both sides of the stories, or I'm not fighting this fight anymore. Or the stance of, this is me. And I've spent so long trying to please everybody else that I've forgotten the power and the passion and the beauty of my heart, my soul, myself. And now I'm not forgetting anymore. It brings us to that simple statement, opening up the whole entire world to us in a way that is extraordinary, in a way that, just brings us to this place of the world opened twice, the world opened for our hearts and the world opened for us in the public arena. And it's saying here, are we ready to step into the world? Not, It's not being overwhelmed by the world, but it's starting to see that the world can be something small. Because when we have this depiction here, we have fungi, and fungi is amazing. It really is. I've watched numerous documentaries and read books on it, which sounds so odd to say, but it's this whole micro world in and of itself. And so the world does not have to be this extraordinary, big, vast, going from one port to the other type of thing. It can be a very small micro world, a world that we live in that is quiet and harmonious. There is a man who, measures snow and has for 40 plus years and lives out in the wilderness. That's his world. It's a micro world. It's a small, beautiful world. And so we as human beings during this time, it's like, what do we want our world to be? Is this huge macro existence? Or is it something smaller? Something finely tuned to us? It's kind of like a violin or a musical instrument, tuned beautifully for us, sculpted beautifully for us. And it leads us to the Three of Swords. And you wouldn't think that the world opening up would lead to pain, but that makes beautiful sense. Because when we open up the world then we see, and in the world we see, that there is pain, and there is hurt, and there is disappointment, and there is anger, and there is despair. And these are the ways I was wounded. And this is what I'm going to see within the world that scares me and makes me want to close the door and say, I'm not leaving my house. Now, that is a micro world in and of itself. But to be able to interact, to be able to elevate, to be able to embrace the heart, the soul, the self, that is going to be intrinsically important. This is the time where we look at our wounds openly and honestly, and we say, okay, this is the baggage that I carry, I get it. But I'm not letting it destroy me anymore. I'm not letting it define me anymore. I'm not letting that person of cruelty write my narrative. And so I'm taking out the swords. They now become my weapons. And it leads us to that beautiful world opening up and saying, I'm always here for you. Can I step into it? Yes, of course. Can I embrace it? Absolutely. This is the time to say, what do I want my world to be? Not what everybody else wants our world to be, but what do I want my world to be? How do I embrace it? How do I love it? How do I understand it? How do I embrace me? How do I love me? We become a student of the heart. Just as our heart is our warrior for us, we become the student of our heart, of our soul, of ourselves, and it starts to open up the doors. We don't necessarily need all the answers during this time. What we do is we ask these profound questions, like, where do I stand and why? What do I love and why? Who am I? What is important to me and why? We become a student of our emotions, of our hearts, of our souls, of ourselves, and that opens up the door. That says so much. We feel so much during this time, so do be mindful of that. Now, our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Queen of Swords, is letting words wound, because words do wound, but not letting them be the fatal blows that they can be, not letting them hold the cruelty that some people want them to, not personalizing everything that everybody says, because everybody has bad days, everybody's grouchy, everybody's angry, everybody gets devastated over things and lashes out. The Queen of Swords is that they're very skilled with the words that they use as weapons, or the words that they use, the power that they're embracing. Do not, at this time, take things personally. Or actually, do not ever take things personally. This is a time where we should say, but this is me. And as long as we're living in kindness and light and love and understanding, what everybody else thinks, well, it's none of our business. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, which is dreams, again, the third eye chakra. It is the beautiful awakening of our understanding. It's the fact that we're stepping into what feels like at times another world, embracing and opening ourselves up to our dreams, our heart's desire, our souls, ourselves. That becomes everything. It's like so many answers come in the quiet of our dreams, in our daydreams. And this is a time where we need to be aware of this, keeping a dream journal, or talking it into our phone, if we wake up to use the bathroom or take a glass of water or something like that, where we say, wow, I just had this dream and it was really neat. It was about, dancing bears and a marketplace. Okay. And we go back to sleep, and then we listen to it and we're like, I don't know what that means, but the first flash of like connection That's what Spirit is trying to tell us. Our subconscious rooted energy is the Emperor, is claiming the throne. That is ours. It's ruling our path forward. It's embracing our beauty and our brilliance, our understanding, but also the fact that nobody gets to lead us. We are leading ourselves. It leads us to the subconscious inner self, which is the Page of Pentacles. We are a student. We are the student of the prosperity that's coming forward. We are the student of the seeds being planted. This is us in the Minor Arcana, represented by the Pentacles. Being a student, embracing the fact that we are learning, that we are opening up doors, that nothing is cast in stone. And that so much wisdom, so much understanding is coming our way. This is the time to learn. This is the time to say, bring me the answers. Or let me see the questions. And then so many more things are opened up to us than we could ever realize. It brings us to our subconscious emotional self. And that's the Eight of Pentacles. Our hard work pays off. But also, we become master craftsmen. We become masters of what we are crafting in our lives. Even if we're not exactly sure what Spirit has been crafting within us, we start to see patterns in things, and we start to say, wow, is everything that I'm learning how to stand up for myself and not quiver and shake, learning how to embrace my own voice, learning how to open up the door. Is this what I've been being taught? How to handle new situations and not be completely overwhelmed. Is this what I'm being taught? And we can see that there are times and spaces and things in our lives where it's like, wow, maybe that is. Maybe that is. And we start to see ourselves cultivating and crafting this beautiful world for ourselves without even realizing it. But our hard work pays off, and that's going to be really important, because there's going to be a part of us that thinks nobody's listening, nobody cares. And yet we're listening, and we care. Divinity is listening, divinity cares. The universe is listening. And even if it's just that everything that I've been learning is teaching me, everything that I've been taking in is teaching me how to move forward, how to stay with it, how to create something better. And it leads us to our subconscious public self. It's the Tower. We've been thrown out of our comfort zone. So much has changed. And because so much has changed, we stand in this space, wide-eyed, taking everything in, learning and gaining an understanding that guides us forward in a way that we hadn't imagined. The Tower comes, and we are shaken. But the Tower comes, and we are freed from a tower, from an imprisonment we might not have known we were in. But divinity moves us forward in a way that moves mountains, that guides us, and that gives us profound understanding. It's not always the most pleasant, it depends on where we are in our own personal journeys, but it is profound in its power. All right, Taurus. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the beauty that is to come and the freedom that is to come. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Taurus.